Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to Synchronicity Web TV. I am your host, Nadia Shaw, and this is your moment of synchronicity. Well, I'm so excited to celebrate with you today, the one and only Alex Ruiz. Now, you have seen Alex on my channel before. You know he is absolutely brilliant. He practices Hellenistic and Islamic astrology. So we have a lot to talk about here, and he is quite enthusiastic and an expert on lots, which were a really important technique in those systems of astrology and in the history of those systems of astrology. And so, who else to teach a full 5-week course at Synchronicity University than Alex Ruiz, all on the lots? These parts of fate revealed is how it is going to be explored. And so we have a lot to talk about today, but I'm also knowing that a lot of people are going to be looking forward to this class as well. So, Alex, welcome again. Thank you for being here.
I thank you again for the invitation. I feel very, very honored and happy to be back.
Yeah, me too. Because I know the students loved you so much when you were here before, and not only watching you, but of course taking your class as well. And just learning from you and all the insights you have and the love and the passion that you bring and how that infuses your knowledge. So, let me ask you first about Hellenistic and Islamic astrology. Can you describe what those are and what called you towards them?
Yeah, for sure. It's basically like I would say construction of how astrology was practiced in the past. And what really drawn me to those specific, well, I wouldn't say like branches of astrology, but like maybe to those specific times and those practices is the basically the continuation of knowledge, because we don't have just like 100 years of knowledge, but we have like centuries and centuries of knowledge building up through books and through amazing astrologers like Abu Mashar or Valens or Paulus Alexandrinus and so many other people. And continuation is something that I'm definitely very interested in, because you can see how astrology works through time, and it is not specific to just one like century or a specific year, but you see how all of those techniques are built over time. And I think as astrologers, we need that. We need to have examples. We need to understand the logic and then put it into practice and see how even after millennia of those people and techniques being like created, they still apply to our days. And I think it is amazing to be a guardian and of that kind of knowledge. So that's what uh, caught my attention about those periods. Yeah.
So, what are lots?
Lots. Well, a lot of people might think, or if you do not know a lot about astrology, lots are not planets, fixed stars, or um, they are mathematical points basically that are derived from planets, right? So, let's say, for example, I think the one lot that we all know is lot of fortune. So you would take the sun and the moon. So you take the distance between them in your chart. And then once you have like all the degrees that are, separating those two planets, then you project it from the ascendant usually. But there are lots that do not use the ascendant as in the formula. They use sometimes like other house cusps or planets. But yeah, they're basically like mathematical points, and they're used to confirm topics, and they can also be used as timing techniques, which are so helpful. And whenever you have like doubts about a topic, let's say love, you study, for example, the seventh house and its ruler and Venus, because Venus is the natural ruler of love. And you say, okay, those are in good condition, or maybe they're struggling a little bit, but I don't know. I still feel like there's bigger picture to my love life. And so you would study the lot of union, for example, and that will tell you like the last say of that topic. And so you would study, what the lot is doing, what the ruler is doing, and that'll give you like a bigger picture and a lot of nuances when it comes to like topics. So yeah, they are very very useful, and they are very helpful to uncover hidden parts about our chart and our fate. So yeah, they are so helpful.
So lots are based on, or they're calculated points, as you said, and it's
Mhm.
about the relationship between different points and planets in your chart. They combine
Yeah.
different energies together and they end up being this like sort of outcome point. And
Hmm.
they're very strongly associated with fate, like you said. And so
Hmm.
they're really valuable where it comes to prediction, right? That's what
Yes.
I think is incredible. Like when you look at the lots, that is one very important part of our tradition. Some people in modern astrology like to run away from our tradition, or at least that branch of our tradition, which is about prediction, but it is a very powerful thing to utilize.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have found when lots are activated, oh boy, do amazing, interesting things happen depending on what is aspecting or conjuncting that particular lot. Now, you did say something interesting. You said depending on the condition of the planet. So I just want to clarify for people that when you said like it's in good condition or not, just give people some examples, like those who are very new to astrology. How would they
Okay.
understand the difference?
Yeah, yeah. So there are several ways to measure a planet, basically. The first one, or I guess the most popular one that we all know, is essential dignity, right? Saying like if a planet is in its own rulership, like maybe Mars in Scorpio, or Mars in Aries, or Venus in Taurus, or Venus in Libra, or an exalted planet like Jupiter in Cancer, or Saturn in Libra. Uh, Sometimes, and I would like to clarify this. Sometimes, with the modern astrology take, it's since it's very psychological. Sometimes when we touch on those topics, sometimes people tend to think that those planets are about themselves. Meaning, if I have an exalted planet, it means that I'm a good person, or if I have a planet in detriment, does it mean that I'm a bad person? And that's not how it works. Like the planets and their dignity show us the resources and expectations that the planets have, right? And also the support. And there's another way to measure the planets, which it's called accidental dignity, right? Saying like, okay, maybe you have like a planet in detriment, but it's in conjunction, like it's close to an angle, right? Or it's in a like good house, like the first house or the 10th house. Those are very powerful houses, right? Because they're strong, meaning that even though those planets might be struggling a little bit, their outcomes will be very visible and they will be strong. So that's what I mean when I say like good or bad planet. Meaning like how resourceful are they and how much support they have. So yeah, and it's important to study who rules the lot. For example, if you have like a lot of fortune in Taurus, you would want to know what Venus is doing, because Venus will manage what fortune represents in your chart, right? So that'll give you the bigger picture of that lot. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and one thing I would like to add is like the lots in regard to prediction in general. Like yes, lots can be used in timing techniques or predictions, right? But one thing that I do think modern astrologers get wrong about traditional astrology is that we do not focus solely on prediction. Like, yes, like one of astrology's like roots is prediction. It was born out of predicting the weather and all of that stuff. But traditional astrology can also be very, very spiritual and very like it can study your soul, not in a predictive way, rather like how are you feeling? What kind of things you're drawn to? What are your talents? And it becomes also prescriptive, right? So if you're in a session with me, for example, or with any other traditional astrologer who works with lots, and you want to study um, um, like your purpose, for example, or what kind of things you're good at, then you would study a lot of spirit, for example. And maybe you would find in that session that maybe you're good at writing, or maybe you could do very well at photography or singing or doing other stuff, right? So it is not just about prediction, but also like studying your soul and what your soul reveals about you, right? So I think that is a very, very important thing to understand when it comes to like traditional astrology and using the lots and stuff like that. Yeah.
So today, Alex, we are looking at the lot of harmony. It was previously that you looked at the lots of fortune and the lots of spirit for us. So I'll be sure to link to that interview below.
So in the course, we're gonna study many lots, and there's lots of love, right? Pun intended. There are lots that specifically study love and how we relate to each other, and how, and things that nourish ourselves and our souls, right? So there are like four main lots of love, but in the course we're gonna cover three, which are a lot of union, a lot of harmony, a lot of eros. But today we're going to focus on a lot of harmony, which is so powerful because it basically reveals what nourishes our soul, what brings us joy, what brings us happiness. It could be translated as hobbies, or maybe the kind of music we listen to, or the kind of books that we like, whether we like to read about history or sci-fi or mystery and all that. So the lot of harmony can reveal what kind of things we like and how those things bring us peace, basically.
Yeah, and inner harmony. And I know that you like to help us to understand the sign based on the rulership and especially the
Hmm.
ancient rulership. So before the
Yeah.
modern planets, before the outer planets were discovered, we had like Mars was ruler of both Aries and Scorpio. So if you have your lot of harmony in Aries or Scorpio, it's going to take on kind of similar characteristics as to what type of activities, what emotions, what feelings actually feel harmonious to you. Like there's something about it
Mhm.
that makes you feel more calm, even if it's like Aries and Scorpio with a Mars rulership, you wouldn't think that that would bring calm, but it is
Yeah.
the harmony within that you're able to access. So let's start
Yeah.
there. Like I'd love to go through the signs. Let's start with the lot of harmony in Aries or Scorpio, as they're both
Yeah.
ruled by Mars.
Okay. Yeah. So if you have a lot of harmony ruled by Mars, then you will most likely feel drawn to martial activities. Let's say competitions, or uh, like maybe working under pressure. But also maybe you're drawn to sports, which sports also belongs to the Mercury realm. So there's a cool link there. But yeah, I've seen that Mars also sometimes has to do with exercising, maybe with taking risks, for example, maybe like climbing or doing activities that you might put yourself in danger a little bit, but there's that rush of high or stamina that brings you joy or brings you peace, right? A lot of harmony might in ruled by Mars might also have to do with weapons, for example. Maybe you like to do some craftsmanship, or maybe you just enjoy maybe hunting or stuff like that. And in Scorpio specifically, there is you might be drawn to protect something, and also hidden knowledge, because Scorpio is one of those signs that have to do with all the occulty stuff. So yes, I would say those things might show up if your a lot of harmony is ruled by Mars.
Okay, let's move on to Taurus and Libra, both ruled by Venus. So, what helps someone who has their lot of harmony in the signs of Taurus or Libra? What helps them to feel harmonious within themselves?
So very Venusian stuff, right? Maybe dancing, the arts, singing, um, maybe going to the movies, or like being close to your friends or having a community, because both Venus and Jupiter, they are as you know, we will find in the course that those are the planets of love, right? But specifically, Venus has to do with our communities and what brings us close to each other. So maybe if you have the lot of harmony in those places, maybe you enjoy being around people that make you feel loved and supported, and maybe you like hanging out with them a lot. What other Venusian activities?
Well,
Maybe like
I'm
painting.
very Venusian. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I love glam. Let's say
yeah,
glam. Can
fashion.
we say glam?
Yeah,
Yeah, because I
yeah,
love
for
glam
sure.
so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fashion, the makeup, doing things that help you to feel very connected to whatever your unique beauty is,
Yes.
and how you want to bring that forward. It's all very Venusian. But yeah, I love that you mentioned like love and relationships because like my Venus, a side note, my Venus is in
Mhm.
Capricorn. So,
Yeah.
and it's conjunct a Sag moon. So they're very close together, just on the other side of the cusps. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, my most immediate understanding of Venus is going to be like about me, not necessarily about other people. Like that's going to be my go-to. And so it's so interesting to also consider like the lot of harmony in a sign ruled by Venus. Yeah, it is about relating to other people, but then also how you feel harmonious when you do those things that help you to feel whatever your definition of fashionable or beautiful might be.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And it's really lovely that you have Venus in Capricorn. I've been working a lot of on synastries recently, and one of the major points for harmony or friendship and love is when a person has uh, you know, their Venus on your Jupiter, right? And I have Jupiter in Capricorn. So and you have Venus in Capricorn. So that means like
We
we
love
would
each
probably
other.
get along a lot in person. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We love each other. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Okay, so next up, let's do Gemini Virgo ruled by Mercury.
Yeah. This is an interesting one because Mercury is so flexible and yeah, it just rules over many things. But basically if your a lot of harmony is ruled by Mercury, you might be drawn to sports. A lot of people think Mars rules solely on sports, but Mercury is a big significator. Also maybe writing languages, doing manual things like craftsmanship. It would also depend a lot, I would say, on what sign Mercury is in, right? But yeah, also knowledge itself, like maybe you have a very curious mind, or maybe in your free time you like to read, you like to explore, you like to wonder and question things. Specifically, like if it's in Virgo, Virgo in traditional astrology has to do with technology, right? And Virgo likes to understand how the world works. So I've seen that a lot of harmony in Virgo sometimes is like, okay, I wanna learn not just something superficial, but I actually want to understand the root of this, like where this idea or this machine or this invention came from, right? Whereas in Gemini, it's a little bit more curious, be like, okay, I like to read a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and maybe I can cultivate my knowledge in many, many, many ways. So yeah, and also Mercury rules over young people. So perhaps you feel like alive with younger people, or your siblings, or yeah, things related to Mercury, also writing or stuff like that.
And having a part of harmony ruled by Mercury, um, it is also quite a strong sign for like you yourself being somebody who has a certain curious and youthful quality. So it isn't just about
Mhm.
like hanging out with younger people, but it's about the energy you bring that can feel that much more youthful because
Yeah.
of your curiosity that's there with you throughout your lifetime.
Yes.
Yeah, very powerful. And once you start making the connection, once people start thinking astrologically, it makes so much sense, doesn't it? It just clicks along.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, next up, if you have your part of fortune in Sagittarius or Pisces, so that's Jupiter rulership,
Mhm.
what then? What does that tell us?
Yeah. So Jupiter also has to do with coming together with people, but especially honoring your promises and your oaths, right? So maybe like actually committing to something and keeping that close to your heart and following the promises that you made. Maybe that's a very Jupiterian and Venusian thing. So maybe that'll also bring you some harmony or inner peace, right? But Jupiter also has to do specifically with law as well as Saturn. So you might be drawn to knowledge or law. Maybe you went to a law, or maybe you just like knowledge in general, hidden stuff. You also like to know how the world works, and maybe you also have specifically like in Pisces, maybe you have a mind that wonders, that likes to imagine things or imagine worlds, and maybe you might have a very rich inner world, right? And Sagittarius, especially like the first 10 degrees of Sagittarius, they are crazy about traveling. So you might as well find peace while traveling or meeting other people, being in foreign places. Yeah, those are the Jupiterian things right now that come to my mind.
Oh my God, I am so curious about looking at mine because I am very sure I must have some kind of Sag rulership there. It would make
Yeah.
perfect sense because, like, when I travel, I sometimes say, like, when I'm in Canada, I am my parents' daughter, but when I
Yeah.
travel, I am myself. And
Mm.
it is, I mean, it really is. Sometimes, like when I get to the airport, like right away, something inside of me just opens up. And I just love it so much. I love being in other places, other languages, other cultures. It makes me so happy. But the other thing, interestingly, I like I grew up in a kind of a political household, right? Like very,
Mhm.
and myself, my politics are incredibly progressive. Like just, I would really consider myself very strongly on the progressive side. Um, but I keep my work kind of politics free as far as the work goes. But when I need to sleep, I will listen to political talk and that will help me to sleep. And then once I'm asleep, like I sort of time it with my playlist. And then
Yeah.
once I'm asleep, then I will have an audio play that is like affirmations or, whatever like sort of meditation energy I might need. But in order to even get relaxed enough to fall asleep, I have to listen to some political stuff to even get there. So I'm sure there's some Sag energy going on or something, but
Yeah.
I'll look into that a little bit. Maybe I'll try to pull that up in a bit. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, it would definitely it would make sense if it would be like Jupiterian route, but also Mercurian rule, because Mercury loves debating, loves presenting ideas. So I mean, that's why both Jupiter and Mercury significators of knowledge, as well as Saturn, right? So yeah, like sharing information is something very Jupiterian and Mercurial.
Let's move on now to Saturn rulership. So we're looking at a lot of harmony in Capricorn or in Aquarius. What does that tell us about what helps us to feel at peace within ourselves?
Yeah, so definitely very Saturnian activities, right? So maybe you like learning about history, or maybe you like old school stuff. But also, Saturn has to do with time and and things that are mysterious. So you might as well be into um, mystery dramas, or you like to listen to mystery podcasts, or stuff like that, or you might even like to learn about occultism and stuff like that. That is very Saturnian. With Saturn, there's also a lot of nostalgia, right? So you might long for like solitude or being alone. That might give you peace as well. Whereas with Venus, also depending on what the sign that she is in, Venus longs being with people and being liked. Saturn is like, okay, let me. I need my alone time, right? And for example, I have a lot of harmony in conjunction with Saturn, right? With Saturn in Aries. So, I mean, I love traditional astrology. I love learning about like old stuff. I like old books. However, when it comes to music, I am not a big fan of the 90s or the 80s, for example. I'm maybe like a 2010s onwards kind of guy. So yeah, Saturn can sometimes rule modernity, but also old things, right? And I also get along with people who are older than me usually. So that's also very, very Saturnian.
That I think is part of that contrast between Capricorn and Aquarius. Like
Yeah.
at once you honor tradition. I mean, look at what you do. You do traditional and Islamicate astrology. So this is talk about Saturn. It is
Yes.
honoring the tradition, honoring the ancestors. But at the same time, there's also going to be that edge, right? There's also going to be that sense of, well, certain things I can figure out for myself, and I'm going to go off on myself and do this or enjoy this. So I love that you're able to make that distinction. Okay, so let's not forget the luminaries. Let's go to the moon. So if you have a Cancer part of harmony, what does that tell us?
Yeah. So the rule, as well as Mercury rules over so many things. With both Mercury and the moon, what I've seen is traveling, right? Besides, like the Sagittarius and all that. Also, having a lot of harmony ruled by the moon means that you might like to travel, also depending on what sign the moon is in. Like if it's in an earthy sign or in a fixed sign, you might be like drawn to just stay at home or maybe not leave your country or your state. But especially if it's in a tropical sign or in a mutable sign or double-bodied sign, then you might be very likely to travel a lot, and that bringing you joy. Also, you might be drawn to things that nurture you. Maybe you might be drawn to women, or to people who have this very caring energy around them. You might also like to be around water, for example. um what else? Yeah,
Mother
those I
people. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You might
yeah,
like
yeah.
mothering people. Yeah, which
Mhm.
sometimes is not a good idea, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I guess like both the moon and Mercury, it will depend a lot on what exactly the moon is doing in your chart. But I can think right now of those like moon activities, or maybe helping others.
And cooking, right? I hate
Yes, yes.
cooking. I will
Cooking.
tell you. So I'm very, very sure that it is
Yeah.
not. I have Saturn in Cancer, so I'm very sure my part of harmony
Yeah.
is not in Cancer.
Okay.
Because I'll tell you, when I was growing up, I remember my mom. She would say that all her life she had to take care of other people because she was the eldest of 10, and then she worked as a caregiver, a personal support worker, and all of that. And so I remember her telling me very clearly that all her life she had to care for other people, and God had a different plan for my life. So
Mm,
she never wanted me to learn to cook. She never asked me to learn all those cleaning, those household things, or anything like that. She was always like education, education, right? And
yeah.
she was right. She was right. So here I am. Okay, finally, Leo, which is ruled by the sun. What do we need to understand about having your
Yeah.
part of harmony in Leo?
Yeah, so the sun is a very interesting planet. I feel like sometimes a lot of people struggle with giving meaning to the sun besides being important or all
Yeah,
that.
shining, being an actor. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and of course that those things might those like cliche Leo sun things might bring you joy, like maybe being the center of attention or being a leader. But also it might draw you to masculine figures, right? So maybe people who have like this they're not necessarily like men, but just like people who have like maybe like a stronger energy, or people who know how to be the head of a group. Maybe you like to be a leader yourself, but the sun has also a very special quality that is intelligence, but it is very different from the mercurial intelligence, right? The mercurial intelligence has to do with like um um with like how you think and how you process your knowledge and how you speak and all that. But the sun is also about like that, I guess, higher knowledge, that like divine inspiration, right? So you might be a pioneer on ideas, or you might like to spend your time wondering or coming up with ideas to better yourself, to better your community, to better the world. You might also be drawn to figures of power, such as maybe like bosses or kings or presidents, or just people who have influence over others. That might be something that brings some kind of peace to your soul, right? Yeah, those are probably like the solar activities I can think of right now.
I love it. I love it. Well, once again, everybody, Alex Ruiz is coming back to Synchronicity University, this time with a 5-week course on the lots. I know that last time you taught a single class and it was so popular. People loved it so much. And so now you're going to be diving in that much more deeply. And I'm so looking forward to this class. And right now, those of you watching, you've got just days left to choose your tuition rate as low as just $5 a class, an unheard of rate to learn from the one and only Alex Ruiz. Alex, thank you for being here. And I'm really looking forward to your class.
Yeah, same. I am so excited. Yeah, we're gonna learn lots
Lots
about the
about
lots.
lots. Yeah.
And yeah, also lots that might not be as popular, like how to tell if you have like psychic abilities and all that, because the lots can tell you that, right? So yeah, sign up
And
and yeah.
there are like hundreds, if not thousands, of lots. So lots can tell you so much. Yeah. And I know a lot of people are going to be able to dive into it with enthusiasm that much more. Well, thank you again, Alex. And thank you,
Thank you
everybody
so
out there,
much.
for watching. Until we connect again, take care. Bye.